It wasn't until the 11th hour for lawmakers in Washington to strike a deal. Finally, Republicans and Democrats were able to come to a compromise to avoid the fiscal cliff. With a deal finally reached, what does it mean for your wallets? Nick Scheumann is going to help us answer some of those questions. He's from the Hefty Wealth Partners. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks again for having me.
We've had members of your firm come in a couple of times in the months before as the negotiations were looming, and we just kept wondering, how do we prepare for this? Now we at least know part of what to expect. And some people already saw a little something when they got paid last week.
That is correct. Last week, first paychecks of the year went out, and everyone is getting a reduction in their pay because of the amount that we pay to the Social Security fund, or the Social Security tax. A few years back, that was reduced. It's 4.6%. It was reduced to 2.6%. That's 2%. That is now back. So for anyone that's making let's just $50,000, that's $1,000 a year. That's not in your paycheck. If you get paid twice in a month, it's about $40. So you did see a reduction. That's what that was.
Significant enough that you were definitely going to notice it.
Yes.
What are some lesser known items of the fiscal cliff deal that people might not realize were either saved or are now going to affect them?
Well, I think one that should actually be shouted much louder is that there's a farm bill. The Farm Bill of 2008 is what the common name of it is, and subsidies are part of it, and that can get into a much bigger discussion. But one of them is milk subsidies. Experts expected, had this lapsed, a gallon of milk would have gone to $6 to $8. I, for one, having some young kids, we put 4 gallons of milk or so through the refrigerator every single week.
Absolutely.
I'm thrilled, personally, that this one was extended. You're
not alone there. There was quite a bit of buzz, I think, before the deal came in. I actually heard from a lot of people, what is this $8 a gallon we're talking about? Because, we're huge into milk consumption, absolutely.
We are, and it would have taken 2 big bites out of our paycheck with that, with the payroll tax. Another one that's not really talked about a lot is there's a 401k option now for your pre-tax money. So that could be what you put in pre-tax many years ago or your employer match. You will now be able to convert that once your documents, so you got to check with your employer once your documents get changed, but you can convert that to a Roth. So the further away from retirement you are, the bigger impact that's going to have. Everyone needs to check that out, but the younger you are, that's certainly going to be a big thing.
And these are conversations you really should probably have with your financial advisor just to figure out where you stand and what's going to be best for you. Right?
That's absolutely true. You should always, and I say this many times on, go back to your plan. Make sure you have a plan. You can run different scenarios, hypotheticals. That is how you're going to know if this conversion or whatever it might be, how it affects me, what it looks like for me in a year, 3 years, 7 years down the road.
We're not done with these talks, are we? They're not going anywhere necessarily now that we say a deal is reached, but we're not done.
No, we're not. There are a lot of things that were just pushed back. One of them is the debt ceiling discussion. And this is one that actually worries me. The last time we had a serious debt ceiling discussion was in 2011, and there's been a few since then. But a big one, the first one was 2011. Stock markets took a major hit during this time. When you talk about messing with the credit rating in the United States, everything becomes scary, and the stock market definitely reacted to that. And it was a 15+% drop before. So now it sounds like one side wants to kind of hold that hostage to be able to lower spending. Which side of which side of the coin you're on, it doesn't really matter. We know what had happened before. Can't say it's going to happen again that way, but certainly something to be worried about.
Well,
if you thought 2 months away.
If you thought the Hefty Wealth Partners phones were ringing off the hook before this, they're just going to continue, right?
That's absolutely true. We phoned. We had a lot of calls about the fiscal cliff going into this, and it's not going to stop.
All right. Well, we'll, I'm sure, have you guys back as these talks continue. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Nick.
Great.
We'll be right back.